Welcome once again to Brain Candy Podcast. I am Susie Meister. I am here with Sarah Rose.
That's me.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, that was really good. We didn't even practice that or anything. And I don't even know how I know that song. What is that?
I know. What song is that from?
What is that?
It's just like the generic game show theme song.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so.
Is it like the dating game, maybe?
Live. It does sound like the dating game. Well, no, maybe the Newlywed Game is what I'm thinking of.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
Who knows? I don't know.
Classic game show moments. You know what I want them to bring back from those old timey game shows is that long, weird, skinny microphone like they used to use on The Price is Right and stuff. Where'd that thing go?
It is so funny that you mentioned that because when I was watching the documentary about the Golden State Killer, one of the things I was thinking when they were showing archival footage of like the interviews of like the, I don't know, newscasters from like the 70s and 80s was, man, that's a cool ass microphone. And it wasn't the long one from like the game shows. It was just another one that the news reports were using.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did we get, microphones got worse. They look less cool.
They got uglier.
Yeah, they got uglier. So we need to go back because those ones were like sleek and cool. Yeah.
Right. And like how big of a difference could it really be in terms of audio quality? Come on.
Right. Is this like the bigger the microphone, like, something thing. But like the long skinny one looked too like dainty, and so they had to make one with like a really thick top.
Blame the patriarchy. They're probably behind it.
Everything is either the patriarchy or racism, and sometimes it's one and the same.
Oh, that reminds me. One of our first orders of business we have to talk about is how you were accidentally racist when...
Oh, when? Oh, yes, when I talked about Trader Joe's, and now that they're taking Trader Joe's off the shelf. I get it.
Let's recap.
I get it.
Okay. So a few episodes ago, you were remarking that at Trader Joe's, they have these international lines of various products, and it's so cute how they'll be like Trader Jose's or I don't know what the other ones are.
Trader Giotto. I love that one because that's how we said it.
You think it's adorable.
I do.
But evidently, some people found it offensive.
And it's interesting because when there were other ones, I think it was like Trader Ming's, and I was like, that doesn't sound good because like
too far.
I don't know if unless Ming translates into John or Joe's but I don't think it does. And so then I was like, oh, and it's kind of like the same. There was a hilarious episode of Broad City where. One of the gals was like doing accents and like doing Australian accent and then doing a German accent and then doing an Italian accent, and then she's like, okay, now do it in Chinese, and she goes, no, man, that's racist. And it's like it's weird that it's not weird. It's a representative of how race is a social construct, that there is a line, and the line changes all the time. So really, we should just not do any of that, and I do get that. But I think Trader Giotto's is adorable. I'm still going to stand by that.
Well, I mean, I think it is one of those subtle things that, you have to really be in tune with it to pick up on it maybe. Yeah. Which is why we didn't. We're just white blonde ladies. What the hell do we know?
What the hell do we know?
So as soon as we are alerted that this is offensive, then the end. But I did not know that it was.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know why. It's like, and then I think for some reason, maybe it's just because I spent a lot of time in Italy, and my mom, like, I don't know, she speaks fluent Italian. We would go to school, to Italian schools, like 1 month out of the year for, and so people making fun of it, not making fun, but just like having a little poke or making a joke
there's
about
like a
the
fine
Italian
line
ones.
Between like a caricature versus a stereotype versus racism.
And like, I always make a joke every single time I see that this is going to sound terrible too. So get ready for me to be accidentally, but not even accidentally, towards like Italians. Italians are going to hate this. But listen, I like know so much about the culture. It's ridiculous. And so every single time I see the restaurant Buca di Beppo, I think of somebody doing a joke of an Italian accent of somebody going bobbity boopy, and so I think it's the most ridiculous name for an Italian restaurant. Bookity beppo, bobbity boopy. It's like that seems like more of a mockery of Italian culture.
Well,
so
maybe they'll go out of business next week, and then we can talk about it.
Oh, it just makes me laugh every time. Bookity beppo, bobbity boopy.
I'm sure that the intention of those international lines and the names that were attributed to them was innocent.
Yeah.
But that's what accidental racism is. So and I'm glad they're, taking on board what someone complained about and making a change.
Yes. And I too will make a change in, I don't
what
know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. What do I need to do in this situation?
I guess maybe be more aware.
I'll be more aware
when you're shopping.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
She's down for that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But people kept emailing us, so I had to acknowledge it.
I will happily stop buying the Trader Joe's brand and start buying the really good, legit Italian brand of crushed tomatoes because, that's worth it.
Hell yeah. That
it's
makes
like a win-win.
happy.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, there we go.
Oh, another order of business is we keep getting emails inquiring about your new, I would call it a verbal affectation, where
what?
you do you. I love you. You do this thing now, which I noticed, but I didn't think anyone else would, where when you are kind of racking your brain about something, you go, Do you know that you do that?
Oh.
But it's new. It's not a thing you've always done.
Well, I'll tell you, it's because it's probably something Ren does.
Oh.
For sure. Because he always says, oh my gosh, what is it? He says, No, he goes, what's it called? Or I think it's like something like that. It's like, what's it called? What's it? But when he's thinking, it's like a filler.
Yes.
And I've adopted that. I can't help it. Yeah, it's probably that.
Well, and I was thinking about
Thank
how women in particular often use verbal tics and pauses and filler to avoid interruption because we're so frequently interrupted by everyone. So maybe you've developed that in response to that as well. Although I probably don't interrupt you as much as other people
No, you
might.
definitely don't. And I would say not many people interrupt me. I am the interrupter.
Well,
For sure. 100%.
I think that's a good
apologize
theory, though.
for that on the regs. If I'm medicated, I don't interrupt as much. There you go.
There you go.
It's ADD.
It's funny though how that occurs where you're a fully grown, mature woman, but you can still be influenced by people that you're around and develop these affectations. We all do that. It's so weird.
You know what? If I binge watch a television show, then whatever character I am, I don't know, identifying or liking that week, I will my internal monologue will be in the affect of that character.
Yeah, I can see that.
And weird ones too, like
Maybe
cartoons.
It's a sign of empathy.
For sure. I'm sure it's something like that. I think we've talked about this before. The one who picked up, there's a name for that. It's like something I can't remember, but anywho,
we do it. We all do
yes. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But I am going to be aware because I don't like I feel like sometimes the they take away from now I'm trying not to do it.
I know.
From the subject. So really I should just slow down.
Oh, yeah, okay. But it's not a criticism. People were just curious.
I do not take it as one. I like all those kind of things.
Another thing that we definitely like is using stamps.com for all of our shipping needs. I'm sure you guys are in the same boat as us where you don't want to leave your house very much right now, and any kind of elimination of leaving the premises is helpful, and Stamps is a great way to accomplish that and still get crap where it's got to go.
Or maybe your mom is trying to get residency in another country and she has to mail 5,000 things to your house, and you're happy to help her, but you are even more happy and excited that Stamps.com is there so you don't have to go to the post office a billion times. But I don't know, maybe you could relate.
Just hypothetically.
Just like hypothetically.
Right, because, I mean, that happens to both of us where our parents are like, hey, can you send me the... I mean, that's constant. I'm constantly shipping stuff to my mother. But you can print out any class of mail, any amount for any kind of package right from your desk or your house, and you just put it on the package and leave it for your mail carrier. Plus, it's a discount, too. You get 5 cents off every stamp and up to 62% off USPS and UPS shipping rates. So you save time and money. So you're getting convenience, but you're also keeping money in your wallet. Right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale. Even that is helpful without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Brain Candy. That's Stamps.com and enter Brain Candy. Okay.
Yeah, man.
First of all, I found this really fun thing that they're doing in Iceland. There's a new app that lets you de-stress, because presumably most people are under a great deal of stress right now because of the way things are going.
Yes.
And you can scream, and they will, and record it, and they will put it into the Icelandic void. Like they have speakers in Iceland.
Oh my gosh. You could scream into the abyss.
Broadcast whatever you scream, and they even give you tips on how to scream effectively, and it encourages you also, if you're truly in trouble, to seek help if you need more than just a little release. It's called lookslikeyouneediceland.com, and it's hilarious. I mean, that
do you get to hear
people.
people scream?
Yeah, I think you can listen as well, because the speakers there put them out, and then I think that you can listen online. It's like, funny is that?
But where are you going to go record the scream?
Into your phone.
Yeah, but like where are you going? Out your house. I live in a very crowded apartment. I see this as being a potential attractor of attention. Oh my God, I did it!
No, it's okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally not aware of that.
Really?
That's funny. Yeah, I totally didn't know.
Even when you listen to the episodes? You're like, I don't listen, Suze.
Maybe I'm just like, I don't even think about it.
I'm
going to have to.
It's such a cute little quirk.
Wow. Now I only want to do that. This happened before with something else I said.
What?
I can't remember what it was, but this happened when we first started recording, and people said, oh, you say that a lot?
No.
And then I became aware of it, and then I stopped doing it. So maybe this will work this time. Yeah.
Maybe you could scream it into the Icelandic void, and then it'll be done.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like that wouldn't... you have to initially record the scream. And screaming real loud would kind of draw a little bit of attention.
It does say that you, of course, do not have to scream. You can record whatever you want, and they will broadcast it. And it is free, I believe. They're just promoting tourism to Iceland.
I love a good scream into the void.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
very
healthy.
For real. That when I was out in the woods, that I wanted so bad to just be like, just scream. I don't know why.
That would be fun.
Yeah. But then it's like, somebody's going to come around if you do that at a campsite.
Well, hopefully.
But babies do it all the time.
Babies do. That's true, those assholes.
Yeah. And, I always think, like, what do kids do to relieve stress and make themselves feel better?
Let it out.
We should do all those things, because that works. But
that's a really good point.
Right?
Like that they know what they need inherently. Yeah. And then just address it, whereas we're taught to stifle all of that.
Yes, repress, resist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ugh.
Well, if anyone's feeling need, they can use that.
I'm into it.
I did also read a hilarious... it wasn't even meant to be hilarious, actually. I think it was in the Atlantic or something. It was about how many hot dogs can a human possibly eat in 10 minutes? Because you know how there's always these... hot dog eating contests, and it's unbelievable what they can do. But they wanted to know, what is the upper limit? And so scientists tested it and determined that the current record is 75 in 10 minutes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
By Joey Chestnut, I think it is.
Oh, good old Joey Chestnut.
I mean, he is like the goat of...
God.
Anyway, but the answer is 84. So there's still room for him to improve.
See, look at you with your positive attitude. I'm like, we are inching way too close to DEATH. So only a matter of time.
DEAT. Well, I don't even think that the limit is imposed based upon what is fatal. It's just what is humanly possible to chew up and swallow in 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like somebody's going to do... All this does is set the bar.
I know. Encourages more bad behavior.
This is terrible.
Are you anti-food eating contest?
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. Why?
Because I don't think it's good for I'm anti any kind of extreme... oh my gosh, I'm doing it. That is me thinking. And you know what's funny is when I do it, I look around, like with each I like turn my head. Because I have to think. What do you want to sit there in silence, people? We can do that. Let's play that game. And now I have to like think and fill the
we're gonna have a lot of dead air.
We're gonna have so much, and I have to talk I have to talk and think at the same time.
No, it's
I don't remember
lot.
what we're talking about. Oh yeah,
well,
why I think that would kill you.
Yeah,
or not even kill you, but you know how? I also think. My God, I hate everybody.
Okay, just let it go. It's fine.
I know. I also think that show, but what's the one where they lose all the weight?
Oh, yeah, Biggest Loser.
Yes, I think that's terrible. I think any kind of extreme pressure on the body and swing in any direction or like effect on the metabolism.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I think we all agree it's not a healthy thing to do.
Here's how I know.
Okay.
Because I participated in many eating contests on the challenge. And I know how my body felt. Oh my gosh. And let me tell you, I am good at this game. If I wanted to, I could go pro. I will say that confidently. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You. And here's why.
And here's why. Okay, go ahead.
First of all, it's actually quite dangerous, but I don't have any tonsils. So
yes, right.
It is a clear runway, which helps with any sort of speed swallowing. This sounds so weird. Please do not take any of this out of context. And then, voracious appetite. That always helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
If you love food.
Former binge eater. Love food. And
binge eater.
Yeah. And I could definitely like zone out and just eat food. Like
you do have the skill set. You're right.
Totally have the skill set. And
you could be a champion.
I could. I know. But I also know what's good for me, and it's not eating contests.
Wow,
and
this is so healthy.
When we did the challenge where it was Battle of the Seasons, and we were playing this game where TJ would bring out a plate of food.
Okay.
And our team would have to bid. We would say, I think that we can eat this much in this amount of time. And the other team would say, I can do this much. Or they'd say like, okay, do it. And if you can't, then the other team gets the point. If you can, you get the point, and vice versa. And we happen to be in Turkey, which is Mediterranean food, and Susie.
Right.
This is my favorite.
Favorite
food. So our team got, and it was so great because it kind of went from, you never knew what they were bringing out, but they started with all the good stuff, and then they got, worse as it went on. We ended up eating liver, I think, at the very end. But,
oh no!
But the first one our team did was one of my top 5 favorite foods, which is stuffed grape leaves.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, do I love these. So I'm like trying to downplay how excited I am for this. I'm like, oh yeah, I bet we can eat
be casual.
Whatever, super cash. They called us, and I think we ended up saying like 50, and they said, okay, do it.
No.
Our team of 4 ate 62, something around there. Single-handedly, I ate almost half of them.
No.
Yeah. It was like
no problem.
No problem. I think I ate like 32 or something crazy like that.
Holy heck.
Or 28. It was something where I ate, where the people who were watching, like the crew, they were looking, and one guy was like, I'm like horrified at you. He's like, I like kind of turned on, but also mostly horrified.
Yeah, right.
Like how, and I, just like shoving him and swallowing it whole. Afterwards, because the worst part was that we had to then wait. That was round number 1, and then we had to wait for other teams to go. So if this were my choice, I'd do what you and I did in the ruins, and like, upchuck everything that you just swallowed. Did you do that?
I probably did.
Yeah, because you have to.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to do that because we were like on set, hot set, whole time. And so I had to just leave it in my stomach. And then when I tried, it was the worst to try to throw up. Nobody should eat that many stuffed grape leaves. Nobody should eat that many. It shouldn't fit in my stomach, and it didn't. And I was stuffed up for like 4 days.
Well, that actually was in the article about how that's actually much worse than the contest itself. Is your body trying to digest all of it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ugh. No, not good. So that's why I just don't think you should put the body through anything like that.
Right.
And I know people like train for it and everything, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, because they said in their testing, it really wasn't about what the stomach could hold, because for a normal person, there are more limits. But as you said, these people train so that their stomachs are more stretchable and malleable or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the real issue is just the logistics of how fast you can chew and swallow.
Okay. Yeah.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
So the answer is welcome. 84 for all of you that
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So now they've just set the number for that.
Yeah.
I wonder.
What do you think the sort of psychological makeup is of a person who really wants to do that? Competitively.
Yeah, I think the joy that comes, the like, I don't know, good feelings, that dopamine hit from the praise that you get and the crowd,
praise.
Like kind of like the attention. I bet that this is a very, I don't know, it's something that gets applauded, and something where people who win these eating contests, people know their name. They get a lot of attention for it.
Do you think it
People
tends to be like failed athletes who they can't really be athletes, so this is a way for them to be competitive?
I don't know. It's interesting. I would want to, because I think it's the same kind of people who get obsessive about anything when you're up at that certain level. So I just think it falls into the category of people who become fixated on stuff.
Oh, okay.
Whatever it is, because I've watched documentaries on like competitive rock climbing and like the indoor rock climbing. That's more about how fast you can get up than like, connecting to nature and being one with the rock and all that stuff. They're just like, let's see how fast we can do it, and which is cool and badass. No, I love it, and then
they just have tunnel vision for that. One thing.
And like the Scrabble documentaries or the whatever it is where it's competitive and like niche and also not physical. Where I do think that that's something that is just a fixated mind, or people who enjoy that,
Yeah, I don't get it. I would love someone to do a study just on their brains.
Yeah.
Another thing that I love is having healthy hair, which is why I love Function of Beauty.
Personalized, I love it.
I've been using them for years, and the reason was because I remember when I moved out here, and I don't know if it's the water or what, but my hair broke off.
Yep, I could have finished that sentence for you. I remember that.
It was terrible because it was so long, and then I had to cut it really short, and that's when I started curling it all the time. And I was like determined to get healthy hair back. And so I got Function of Beauty because you can customize it to whatever the heck your problems are. And so I chose all of the things in the quiz. It was like moisture, prevent breakage, all the damage, all that stuff. Because, I mean, when you pour bleach on your hair every month, things happen.
And you got the good kind with the purple tint, so it keeps your hair from looking brassy.
Exactly. Yeah, they have that for people that use color so that your hair stays nice the way you like it. But it's formulated specifically for you, whether you have curly hair, fine hair, whatever. And you can tell them, like, I don't want silicone in here, or I don't want any fragrance. Like, you can make it really personal. They don't use sulfates or parabens or any of those harmful ingredients. And it's just a custom hair brand, just perfect for you. So what are you waiting for? Go to functionofbeauty.com/braincandy to take their 4-part hair profile quiz. It just takes a couple minutes and save 20% on your first order. Go to functionofbeauty.com/braincandy for 20% off and let them know you heard about it from our show, please. That's functionofbeauty.com/braincandy. And anybody that uses our codes and stuff, I just thank you so much, because that's how we keep the lights on. That's how we keep the show going. And so we're so thankful when you use our codes.
And it's good stuff.
Oh, well, yeah.
We do not steer you wrong.
We don't. We really don't. Okay. Okay, would you like to hear the history of the Walkman?
Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Yes, absolutely. Especially because were we having the conversation about Walkman like it's a name instead of Walkman?
No.
Oh, this is so funny. I know. Actually, I think it was us. I feel like this was in an episode.
It should be. It sounds like something we would talk
It
about.
totally is, because like I think I called it a Walkman, and you were like, Walkman, like,
right.
And you're like, it's Walkman.
That's funny. It's like on
funny.
Friends when Phoebe was like, "Why isn't he Spider-Man?"
Yes, it's like that. Or when you thought Redman was Redman. I was like, no, Susie, Redman.
So embarrassing. Right. This is the Walkman, and the Walkman just celebrated its 40th anniversary.
Wow.
We're the same age, and it was really fun reading. This was in the New Yorker. Just sort of how it came to be. And I thought it was funny because they created this thing in Japan. I believe it was Sony. And at first it was sort of stubbornly big. You know, it was too big to put in your pocket. So they had to have, like, you remember how it had like a strap that you would like wear, you know, like a purse almost.
Yeah.
And at first they had included on it this microphone, which they put on there because they feared that people would feel too isolated and would want to pause the music and then let whoever talk to them through a microphone. Like if your wife was like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" You'd hand her the microphone. And little did they know that the isolation was the whole beauty of it.
That's the point. Oh my gosh. Can you believe that that's like something you don't even know?
Right.
How much
is the appeal.
Yes, until you have it. And then you're like, wait, oh, that's so interesting.
Well, and they started calling it the Walkman effect. And it's almost like a precursor to, you know, the phones and then the headphones that we use now. And it sort of is a do not disturb sign. I mean, for people that are paying attention.
Absolutely.
Some people ignore it, but and it limits like the cacophony of sort of urban noise, and you know, if you're on the subway or walking around town. And I loved hearing that, like, in the beginning, Andy Warhol saw it as like a fashion statement, which is so Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know that Paul Simon wore his at the Grammys in like 1982.
Cool.
Like, can you imagine? And I'm sure at the time it was like, what is this super high-tech thing? But
oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Because it really is the very first... Well, was there any other kind of portable... I mean, those travel tape players... Well, that was the Walkman really was.
But nothing with headphones.
Nothing
and it
like
was
that.
saying that, like, before the Walkman... the headphones were really a sign of hearing impairment. So there was a context there that I didn't know because I'm just used to this. But before that, it was sort
interesting.
Yeah. And then it's funny because they were describing how the creator gave one to Steve Jobs in the early 80s before Steve Jobs was like Steve Jobs. And he took it home and he dismantled it to see how they did it. And he was so envious. Like, he didn't really want to be Microsoft or IBM. He wanted to be Sony. And how funny that is because he ended up creating the iPod.
Oh, my gosh. I can imagine he was inspired by that right there. He's like, oh, now I see how to do it. That's really cool.
Yeah. And, I mean, do people ever use them anymore? Is that even a thing?
Well, obviously not a tape one, but I did use one when I was on the Real World because we weren't allowed to have any phones that had any sort of, like, we couldn't have a phone.
A smartphone.
Yeah. And how else do you use music? And then they wouldn't even let me have anything that had, like, Wi-Fi connection or anything like that.
Wait a minute. Can you tell me more about all that?
Oh, and I know why. I had an iPod and it was stolen. That's right. I was at a bank in Brooklyn. Stolen right there off the counter at the bank.
No.
Yeah. And then I went in and told the bank and I was like, oh my God, somebody just, like, you know why? This is a whole story. Now you're going to have to hear it.
Tell me.
Buckle up. So I'm left-handed. And they put all of the keypads and everything that you have to sign on the right-hand side. So I put my and first of all, I know I shouldn't have had it out on the counter. So yes, it is my fault. But I put my iPad or my it was like a first generation, iPod. And I put that on the counter and, like, just right in front of me. And then I lean over to sign and like across the counter to sign this little, signature pad. And as I turn, somebody just yanked it and ran out the door with it. And it's at a bank where they were all recorded.
Right.
So then I turn around, I'm like, what the hell? It was just stolen. And I think that my headphones were, like, on or something. So I felt it. And then the guy runs out the door. They're not able to get him. But they're able to look at his last transaction. Because he just did they found out that he was making a whole bunch of, like, cashing fraudulent checks.
No.
Because they were like, something was, like, that guy, how come he just did that? And so they looked into, like, the checks, and there was, like, suspicious activity on the account or something like that. So, whatever.
Did you call the police?
Not over my iPod. And plus, I was taking a break, or I probably was, like, in doing something. I told the producers I was one place and wasn't. So, and I didn't call the police because I didn't have a freaking phone. That's probably why. There you go. I'm like, I'm putting the story together because I'm like, why didn't I?
I know. I have to do that a lot too, especially with show stuff.
With shows, because I'm like, that seems weird. And so that was it. And I didn't have the money, because they pay us absolutely nothing, to buy a new iPod while I was out there. So I just bought a Walkman. And then I went to the Goodwill and bought CDs. And I bought Salt and Pepper.
Oh, my God.
And I bought the soundtrack to Get Shorty.
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh. And I bought a CD by this band called Orgy.
Come on.
Yes.
Sarah.
What?
So you had this CD man.
Yes.
I don't know what they were called.
Yeah.
And you had 3 CDs.
Listen, it was slim pickings over there at the Goodwill in Brooklyn.
I know. You're so thrifty.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had to get music somehow, and then they don't even, like, and I wasn't going to spend a whole bunch of money buying CDs that, like, so I'm like, okay, what few things can I listen to? Yeah, I feel like there was more than that. I might be able to look through my collection. I feel like there was definitely more than that. I'm trying to remember what it was, because I remember being like, yeah, this is pretty solid. This covers all the genres that I'm interested in listening to.
But wait, what? Can you explain a little more about the limitations on what you were allowed to have and what you were not allowed to have?
Well, you're not allowed to have a phone.
Okay,
and you're
no phone at all.
Yeah, no phone. They give you this phone that's like one of those Firefly phones that has the picture of mom and picture of dad on it. And it was like, call the producer or call the, what's his name? whatever Jim Johnston was, like the executive producer or the like line producer or talent coordinator. That's it. Maybe it could call 911. Maybe it had an emergency button. I don't remember that.
Oh my God.
But I definitely remember being like way too poor to buy an iPod and being like, oh,
were you allowed to, let's see, you had a computer in the house.
Yeah. Oh, right? But this is great. The only way it worked was if somebody rode a bicycle. It was powered by, well,
you had to do that while you were using it?
Yeah, but then, this is the best. Then Caitlin is she's such a genius. She was a computer hacker, amazing. She went in, changed a whole bunch of settings, rewired shit, and made it so we didn't have to do that anymore. She was like, yeah, that's stupid. I'll fix that.
And then they didn't, that was okay.
And she was like, I'm going to keep doing that, just so you know. Because she was like, this is ridiculous. And it was ridiculous because a lot of us, the whole idea of our season was we were like activists who were building our personal brand and out there
working.
It was all about us doing our own individual jobs. We didn't even have a shared job together. And so Scott was building his online business and his workout, whole thing. And so we needed a computer. And I was doing research on all this stuff. So it was annoying. And she's like, we're going to fix this.
It's annoying to me because it's clearly a gimmick so that they can it's a funny plot point. But then once you get your footage, can we just be normal?
Right.
Like, for real.
For real.
You're going to make people live like that? I'm like, I must be in a mood about the show today. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then they got rid of it because I think they also realized that, okay, these guys aren't going to want to do this. And it would give us 20 minutes. It was so stupid.
Do the rules sort of lighten up over the course of shooting? Or is it strict all the time?
I think more I'm the wrong person to ask because I am the rule follower, and which I explored recently in my mind. And it's not necessarily that I have a fear of authority figures or judgment or what other people think about me. It's I'm scared of consequences. I'm scared of what could possibly happen. And I think that comes from inconsistent consequences when I was a kid.
Right.
So I never know if something is the biggest deal or not a big deal at all. And so I'm just terrified. Oh my God, how in trouble can I get for this? And so I don't want to get in trouble because I don't want any consequences. Maybe. I just, when you're in quarantine, you do a lot of just workshopping in my mind.
I know, it's so true.
You do a lot of self-exploration.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking, Adam must be so sick of hearing me try to analyze myself. Because it is sort of annoying, when someone does it around you all the time. I know.
I am this is what I live for, Sue. This is my bread and butter, literally.
There is no way that you actually want to hear that, though.
Yes, I do. Suze, what do you think I did all through grad school?
What?
That. Listen to people do workshop self-exploration and explore. Yeah. This is what being a therapist is.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't think you'd want to do it as leisure.
No, but it's different. It's it's like a chef hanging out and making a good meal with friends.
Yeah.
Or having calling up your chef friend and being like, "Hey, I'm having a dinner party. Can you come over and cook for me?" That's not what you're doing. You're not asking for free service. You're just we would be shooting the shit about a topic that I happen to love. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sharing and caring.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm into it.
All right. Well, I'll call you up next time I'm having my self-analysis.
Yes. Because Lord knows you have to listen to mine.
Yours is more interesting.
Oh, that's funny.
One of our brainiacs, Kara McSweeney, the zookeeper, she sent an article about a type of fish. You know those ones that are super, super deep in the midnight zone that are almost bioluminescent or whatever they call it. And she just sent it to me, and I hadn't read it yet, and I was just like, oh, fuck. This thing looks monstrous. You know how sometimes they do with those teeth and everything?
Absolutely. That's proof that aliens could look like the alien from the movie Alien.
Yeah, Nightmare.
Because of what the fish... And if people are like, that's not what they look like.
true.
I'm like, have you seen our own ocean?
Yeah, right, Sarah.
There you go.
Okay. Well, so some dude that was getting his PhD was doing his dissertation on these fish that you can find down there. And they sent down a net and just pulled it up. And one of the fish that they found was called ultra black fish. And we talked about...
one of the fish they pulled up was called Steve, and he was late for wherever the hell he was supposed to be going.
He was furious about the net.
Pulled up by a net. That's messed up. That's funny. Okay, back
we
to the
talked
fish.
before on the show about the color ultra black and how you look at something black and you think
how
it's
that
as
artist
dark.
had the patent on the color, and then tried to be like, no, I own this color. Yeah. And it looks like a void of everything.
Right. Because when we look at something that is black as we know it, we think that's as dark as something could be. But the essence of color is how much light is being absorbed or reflected, right? So that's why when you're in a room with no light, you can't see shit. It's not like the items have changed. It's the amount of light that's changed.
Right.
So these
the item's
fish,
ability to reflect or hold light. Yes. Oh, I love this.
So the ultra black fish that they found, when you look at it, it's not like you're looking at a fish. It's like you're looking at a void, as you said.
Wow.
It's the absence of something. It's like a mind fuck, really.
I love that.
So these guys absorb 99.9% of light. Wow. And anything less than 10% is reflected is considered black. And I think less than 5% is considered ultra. So this is like beyond ultra, right?
Well, and it makes sense that you would never even know they were down there, because how the hell would you be able to see them? Unless you put them against a background that was a different color. Because if you just go down where there's no light, you can shine, you wouldn't be able to see them.
Yeah, so they said they were like permanent silhouettes.
Yeah. Wow! That, it creeps me out a bit, but
right?
I love it. I don't know why, I guess the heebie-jeebies.
Know so little, and when you see something like that, you're like, oh my God, we don't know anything.
We don't know a thing about our oceans, and I love it.
They called them like light-devouring voids that almost seem to shred the fabric of space and time. And so sometimes you get ultra black on birds or spiders or butterflies, but that's on them. It's used to contrast the other colors that they have. So it kind of makes them pop, and they're just so beautiful. But these fish basically become invisible. So there's something to give you nightmares if you're looking for something else to be worried about.
Yeah, so now that jerk, he can't patent that, because that's like a natural existing color. That's like, no, you can't do that shit.
I love that he's a jerk. Well, yeah, because why did he think he owned
jerk.
it?
He was like being a big jerk about it.
Yes.
I totally remember us not liking him.
Well, because wasn't his quote-unquote art just a black on the floor, and people were like going to fall into it?
And made like an old man like break a hip or some shit.
Yeah, there was some danger involved.
Golly.
We're mad about it, even though we don't remember the
definitely
details.
The patriarchy, I'll tell you that.
I know enough to know that.
I know enough to know that.
Anyway, I guess people that like animals are excited about this discovery, so good for them. Okay. I was heartened recently to learn there is a feminist history of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Oh.
Which is fun.
Tell me.
Hit single of Americana. Well, apparently there are other verses to the song that we don't know, but other people know it, but we just don't sing them at the game. But they're more telling about this song's origin. But apparently there was this dude, and he was in love with this lady named Trixie. And I
already love it.
Right. And she was a suffragist, total badass bitch, doing her thing. And he was on the bus and thinking about her, and he saw a sign about, baseball's today, come watch. And he thought, she would probably be into that. So he wrote the song in sort of as her saying it, like, take me out to the ball game.
Yeah,
and,
she's singing it.
Yeah, and they were saying how the fact that nobody really knows the source of the song is evidence of how women's stories are so often forgotten or overlooked or untold. And it's not just women, of course. It's all marginalized peoples.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But, also the power of a historian's curiosity to investigate, because that person went in trying to find more information about the song and discovered that she was the, what do you call that, inspiration for it. And that's cool, because who would ever think that a baseball song...
Well, I didn't even know the other verses.
I know, because when I read them in the article, I tried to put it to the tune, and it didn't work.
Oh, no. So there's got to be a change-up. There's got to be like a...
I need to hear a recording of it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what? That doesn't make sense.
But what's the vibe? What's the...
The essence is that she's like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to the baseball game, which is something that women weren't just doing their own thing and going wherever the hell they wanted. And so it was talking about her independence and her own hobbies and passions, and it happened to be about sports, which is super cool.
And they were like, well, we'll have none of that.
Yeah, let's stick to the Cracker Jack.
She was the first, and I'll do it there, I don't even care, Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Maybe Manic Trixie Dream Girl in this case.
Oh, look at that. It's very
right?
clever. But we do love her because she's a suffragette badass bitch and all that.
It was a big scandal, though, because evidently this guy was married to someone else.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
So maybe she wasn't such a feminist after all, but...
just a floozy.
They were just banging.
He's to blame, too.
Yeah, changed the course of baseball musicology.
Oh.
God bless Trixie, even though she was a little slutty.
And her home runs.
Right. He got to third base with her.
Hi-oh.
Hey-oh. Were you privy recently to, do you know the Susan Orlean, the woman that wrote the library book?
Yeah, I actually have that book sitting in front of me.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
That is crazy. I have it right in front of me, Susan Orlean, the library
book. Mm-hmm. Well, her book's wonderful. You should all read it. But she's on Twitter, and the other day she went to her neighbor's house to go see their new baby mare, and they stopped in, and they're like, hey, since while you're here, just have some wine. And you know how sometimes that is where you just pop into a friend's house, and then next thing you know, you're wasted?
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to Susan, and she started tweeting nonstop, and it was hilarious. And it was charming and lovely and, all kinds of typos and whatever. And Twitter went crazy. Everyone was delighting in this woman's sort of fun night. And I was just thinking to myself, why were we so excited by this? And my theory is that because everyone is so scared to say anything now of getting canceled, that everything is so scripted or sort of safe, and there's not as much of that spontaneity. And I know that for myself too. I am very careful now about what I'm tweeting, what I'm saying, and that's a good thing. But what you lose is sort of those impulsive moments that are just fun. Yeah. Because especially for celebrities like Susan, you don't want to say something and then have everything go to hell. Right. Especially when you're drunk.
Right. Oh, my gosh. I drunk texted Ren the very first night that I reached out to him. And
I remember. I was with you.
And I refuse to even look at those messages. I won't even go back in them. I have not ever looked at them because I was so embarrassed.
Wait, was this Instagram DM?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
He was like, it's not that bad. Oh, my battery's lower.
Did he know that you were tips?
Probably, but I did. I think when I was just sober enough to read back and be like, and it's your fault. You took me to a comedy show, and your friends gave me shots of whiskey to encourage me to text him. So, I mean, I thank them in the long run, but I've really proved on this show that I'm a big old lightweight, or just boozing it up all the time, which is not the case. I promise. But
I found every time I've sort of drunk or tipsy posted or text, whenever I look the next day, they're fine.
It probably is fine, but I'm just mortified at what I could have said. you know?
Right.
Because I was like, oh, God.
I'm glad you did it.
Me too. Hello. And he thinks it's adorable, whatever I said, so.
And, like, apparently
like,
people
"It's nothing."
text her husband and were like, I think somebody hacked her account. And he came in the bedroom and he's like, hey, like, are you okay? People think your account's hacked. And she's like, I'm fine. And she kept doing it.
Get it, Susan.
Give her credit because this is my thing about, like, people were texting me. I'm not going to name names because it's people you guys know, but people were texting me worried about being canceled for tweeting and nobody knows what to say. And I'm thinking, if you live your life in a way that's ethical, you don't have to worry because you're not performing. It's just who you are.
Right.
And I'm sure that's how she felt. Like, she's not going to say anything cancelable because she doesn't have those thoughts.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a non sequitur. I just found it interesting.
Like now I want to go read it.
I know you should. It's so fun.
And you know what? My God. I'm in need of a positive and adorable Twitter rant these days.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Because when you go online now, it's not that same escape that it used to be.
No, it's not. It's
the opposite.
Right. That's why I choose Family Matters in the morning instead of Twitter now, because I have to survive.
Really?
Yes. And now every single episode we watch, we're always like, oh my God, Lincoln would love this. So, yes.
That's what I'm wondering.
No, it's totally appropriate for him.
Is
and
it
Ren
really
and I were
funny,
talking
though?
that we were, yes, it is funny.
Okay.
And it holds up.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
What about how that one daughter kind of lost her marbles?
Here's the thing. Don't Google any of them currently. You have to, that's like the rule with all of that. So you don't do that.
Tell me what they're doing.
No, it'll ruin it.
Sarah.
Well, Eddie, not so nice to his girlfriends.
Yeah, I remember that.
And daughter, had some drug issues.
Didn't she get into porn and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then did, what's that show called? The Dr. Drew did that I don't like.
Oh, yeah, Celebrity Rehab.
Celebrity Rehab. Yeah.
Wait, what about Laura? She's okay though, right?
Yeah, she's okay. I think she was diagnosed with cancer though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a downer, Sarah. Thanks for
I know. I was like, I don't want to play this game. God, I hate this. I was like, I was so happy. But no, you know who is amazing is Urkel. And he's I think, underappreciated actor.
Do you really?
Absolutely gifted as a child actor.
For sure.
For sure. I mean, Ren and I talk about how, like, there were some scenes that he did where we didn't even know that he, like when he comes out at Stefan or Kel, and he gets like fancy.
Urkel.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like, we were both saying that we didn't even know it was the same person. He was so good. We're like, that.
When you were young.
Yeah, that's got to be a different person, right? He's not like that. And just his ability to do the things he does and make us laugh. It's still funny. You'll like it. You will. I know you will.
I understand when actors are upset when they're typecast, but it really is a compliment because you're so good at your role that then people can't see you as anything else.
Yeah. So, like, stop being so good, people.
Oh, do you think, like, he's mad about it?
No, I think he's well, I don't know. I'd have to ask him.
Maybe we should have Jaleel White on.
Yeah. I just really like the show. The end.
No, I get it. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing before your battery dies or whatever.
Oh, no. We're good. I mean, really, it's annoying because it's plugged in, but somehow it's taking more energy to do this show for my little iPad.
You know what? Same.
Then it's fitting.
I wanted to update you because I know you already watched it, but I finally got to watch The Last Dance about the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, yes.
I just can't believe
see
how great it is.
Right.
And I love, as we've talked about on the show, I get really passionate about excellence, people that are excellent at what they do, whether they're a janitor or a chef or a basketball player or whatever. I love seeing someone be totally committed and then excel like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm into that. But I didn't know that they also had so much coverage of like, like the endorsements and the interpersonal relationships. I'm always fascinated to see how men behave when there are no women around.
Ooh,
that is
yes.
interesting. I find it so annoying how they joke and tease each other constantly, but that's what they do, so whatever. And the dynamics...
It's basically the equivalent of the horn, elk like bucking horns.
It really is.
It is that. So we got to just let them do that.
We got to let him do it.
Yeah.
And then just like the business of all of it, and then how personal it can become. I don't know. It was fantastic storytelling.
I just love hearing you love this.
Mm-hmm. I love a good storytelling that doesn't exploit people. Yes. I love hearing their backstories, and especially Scottie Pippen, how much he overcame. Right. And he's adorable. I want to be his next wife. I mean, he is so sweet and cute, and I just want to kiss him.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
That's really cute. The end. That's
but
so
you guys
cute.
should watch it. Even if you don't like basketball or sports,
you'll
love it because it's about humans. Right. It's about people and business and excellence, and that's fun to watch.
Yeah. Now that's why like everybody's like, Russian or already they're gone. Don't worry. All of the jerseys for the the Bulls and everything. People are like, oh, I want a Michael Jordan jersey. I want one because like.
Oh, really? Like it's now coming back again?
Well, like people, I've heard people who have watched the documentary are like,
I could see that.
Well, now I want a Michael Jordan jersey.
Yeah, because it makes you really understand. I would rather do it this way where it's all over and now I can have it synthesized and unpacked and described with all the context and stuff instead of just following it at the time.
Yeah. Did it change how you view team sports at all? And like the kind of
not team sports, but the business of it and how much is involved and how the friggin' what do they call that? Where it's like the Bulls organization, they call it. The organization, like the general manager and all those people that are like total losers, but like really want to be athletes.
Crazy story? Yes.
Yeah, and then how that dynamic changes the actual sports element.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that because I'm not involved in sports, and so that was
high drama.
It is
because it's people. Yeah.
Because you just think, they're playing a game and that's it, and whoever wins, wins. But there's a lot of dynamics that influence the outcome beyond the talent of the players.
Which is why whenever I played fantasy football, I always looked more into their relationships. I said, okay, I'm not going to pick anybody who has confrontational or bad relationships with his girlfriends and wives because he's probably not going to be a consistent player and he's too emotional and he's going through, that one's going through a divorce? Nope, definitely not picking him. I just look at, so I'm like, that's how I determine how they're going to play.
What do you think about Dennis Rodman?
Oh, he's a fun character to watch. I think he's
complicated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that maybe the development of that identity, it was like his way to find like comfort and also strength and also kind of stand out. And it's complicated, but it sure is interesting.
Because people think of him as a loose cannon, but in some ways he's so disciplined and so strategic and smart. I was into that.
I think it's more like that. You know how when we talked to Cyrus and we did that interview with him, the 15 Minutes of Blame, he talked about how his look is very, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's like by design.
By design, intentional. It's very intentional, and it's not like, it's thought out and it's purposeful. And so I feel like Dennis Rodman is the same with that. Like, I think the things that he did for attention and for, to create his persona were more intentional than I think people think.
Yeah, because it was a spectacle, but on the court, he did his job, and it was very impressive.
And doesn't Carmen Electra say that she really liked him? That, like, he's a great guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like, because I just listened to the girlfriends.
Yeah, she was...
ex-wives, really, yeah.
She
They're
seemed
like, oh, yeah, he's
like...
great.
Yeah. Nothing bad to say about him.
Right, and Michael Jordan's just mad because he was late.
Michael Jordan. Yeah, I like seeing how he holds people accountable and it has expectations and makes them very clear. But then he follows those things too. Because I feel like that's how I am, where I'm like, I have very high standards, but I also apply them to myself.
Yes.
But
yeah. Well,
anyway, Scotty's adorable, and I want to kiss his eyelids. The end.
That's really cute. I love it. Well, I'm glad you liked it, Sus.
Anywho, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. We love you guys.
Yeah, man. Bye.